look at us. I got pretty people next to me, you know, and I just want to know, is there other people that are not pretty in LA? Because I'm up here with 2 or 3 of the most prettiest people ever. And we're going to hit y'all with some relationship conversations. We want to talk today, are there male and female roles? And if there are they hard and fast? Do we move beyond those? So next to me, I have the beautiful Kia Matthews. Then next to me, I have the extraordinary, beautiful Michelle Brown. And then I have super fine Kendall Kirkland sitting on the other end. And I do let his mama know that I am just not a cougar, but that I can appreciate a good-looking young man. So, Kia, do you feel that there are male and female roles?
Yes, but I think in today's time it's a little bit more fluid. It's not as like hard and fast as it used to be. So I don't think that we have to like bog each other down with like a woman should be doing this or a man should be doing that. I feel like in any relationship there should be compromise. And you can't just stick to what you think it's supposed to be. You have to do what works for your relationship.
I receive that. Come on, Michelle.
Yeah, I would say I definitely agree. I think it's not as black and white anymore, but I would say I definitely believe in masculine and feminine energy. And I think there's a big importance in studying that energy to just understand what is your partner better at and what makes more sense, because I think a lot of relationships kind of take a turn because we're so busy trying to force that person to be more like me instead of appreciating the masculine traits that make you a man and why he's better at certain things, why he's better as a leader, why he's better with, you know, maybe emotional stability or things like that. And then vice versa, the feminine things that make me who I am and why I'm free flowing and why I need him to understand how I operate certain ways and why my strengths are certain things. So I think it really just goes into studying each other, studying that masculine and feminine energy. And then to piggyback off what she said, now we can study our relationship. If you are more of a masculine woman, why you might have more feminine traits in your man. Nothing's wrong with that. That's just where you're at and being
100%.
able to flow with your relationship with that.
100%. Kendall?
Yeah, that's a very loaded question because I think it was a little more clear and defined in the 1970s and 1980s.
Agreed.
But nowadays we have this emergence of the modern woman. So I feel like society is perpetuating a weak man. But back in the day, men took pride in taking care of their woman, being the head of the household, providing financially, providing emotional, mental, spiritual stability in a lot of different ways. So now I feel like the line has been blurred, not because it should be, but just because that's where society has took it. Right. And I know that there's a lot of strong women out there, but if you really ask them in the deep core, if there was a man that really walked up to them and it was everything that they wanted, I think any man would think that a great man would be a great addition to her amazing lifestyle, whether she's making a lot of money, whether she's spiritually led, or whether she already has it and she doesn't need one. I think that their roles can still be defined in a certain way, and the man can still be the masculine provider and still the leader in that household.
100%. Now, you guys remember Good Times?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
James
way back.
was the man, right? He was strong. Florida had the ability to finesse, but you knew that he protected his family, he did for his family. And when you see some of the other shows, the woman is more of the force, right? Mm-hmm. And then the male. So I think that's what you're saying, Kendall, is that in times of changing, even the character, the Waltons, the daddy on the Waltons was the strong, right? The strength. So I think of when I was coming up, the different shows, and now you have shows where the roles in so many instances, good or bad, have been flipped, and so it is looked at differently. Let me ask you, Kendall, and then ladies chime in on what do you think about now the man being the stay-at-home dad?
Yeah, no, that's not it. For me, that's not happening. That's all cool. Yeah, baby, you go to work. I'll take care. Nah, for me, that's a no-no. So, fellas, if you're doing that, nah.
I mean, personally, I don't think the way I look at it, I don't think anyone should really be staying at home. Like, and I think if we look back at it, like men, their main jobs were to protect and provide. So I'm like, nowadays, like women help provide for the household. So outside of protection, I kind of just encourage like men and women to think about like, well, what is the role of a man then? If we're both providing now, obviously you still protect as a partner, but in what other ways do you contribute? Because I think back in the day, it's like women, like we raise the children, we clean, we cook, but we weren't providing. So
Wait,
now
hold
that we
on,
are
hold on, hold
providing,
on.
where do we find
You
that
telling me if
balance?
I pay all your bills, you're not gonna stay at the house?
Oh,
Don't lie. Hold on.
Because
I
no, you know,
I got it,
I
baby.
may stay at home, but I'm still gonna make some money in some way. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I'm not gonna just not make any money and like just only stay at home because I wouldn't be fulfilled as a person. I still want to fulfill my purpose and my passion, right? Like, so yes, like if you're gonna pay all my bills, I'm not gonna stop you. And then, you know, we could have some conversations regarding compromise and what that looks like. But you know,
You know what I think it is? I think it's the fact that when a man's paying all the bills, I think women feel less than or they're not bringing enough. But if a man's paying your bills, you're obviously doing enough to make him want to pay your bills. You're bringing so much intrinsic value and you're bringing him so much peace that he doesn't mind doing that for you. So women, if you're getting your bills paid for, you are still a valuable, beautiful, amazing, virtuous woman. There's nothing wrong with that. You're getting taken care of.
Because I've said this to my niece, and I say this to all the women. If a man is paying all of your bills and he's doing all that, you have a responsibility to be that amazing person who's
Yep.
at home. So when he comes home, be prepared to make sure the house is in order, the kids are in order, a meal is ready, all of those things. That's where the give and take comes in, right? Now, if he's really rolling like that, you might hire some help, but you're still organizing and making sure those things help. I tell my niece, it is her job to be her husband's biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
Yep.
So make sure you marry somebody that you can cheer.
Yeah. And I think that's where we're talking about my personal views now.
Right,
So like
right.
I generalize a lot of stuff because I think ultimately it comes down to what you want in life,
Yeah.
what you define things, and then be okay with the things that come out of that. So even when I use the example of like a more masculine woman and maybe a more feminine man, if that works for you, that's great. That does not mean that you're not going to have different challenges because it goes against what your natural needs, desires, and things may be.
100%.
So I just want to clarify that because now I'm going to get into my own personal beliefs. And I do believe that it's seasons. And again, it's studying your man. It's studying the masculine energy. I like ambitious men. He is never going to be fulfilled in the home. I am a feminine woman. I enjoy nurturing. I enjoy taking care of. I believe that part of my purpose is rehabilitating, putting the battery pack in my man's back so he can go do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
So I do believe in seasons. When I'm raising kids, I put a high magnitude on that. I don't have kids right now, but when I have kids, I want to be the sole influencer, caretaker. I don't want other people raising my kids just because I need to, make a certain amount of money or I need to go fulfill certain things. Now, it does tie into what she said as far as purpose, because there's still things outside of my children that I'm going to want to pursue and do.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's seasons. Do I want a season where, yes, I have the option where I could stay home and focus on my kids? Absolutely. That does not mean I would not be sewing into the women that I care about. That does not mean I wouldn't be sewing into the, charities or, I just love growth in total. So doing podcasts or doing whatever it might be, but that would take the back seat to the main priority of I need to raise my kids right now. So I think it's okay being with seasons and understanding, like, again, that masculine and feminine of what I want in my relationship. The man I want wouldn't even be okay being at home because he has too much to pursue,
100%. And you know what? And here's the other thing, and just tapping onto what everyone is saying here, but I think we've been saying it all day. It's choices, right?
Yeah.
So a man who wants his wife to stay home, they need to be able to communicate that I want to do this, babe, and I want you to stay home. There needs to be an agreement. The agreement may not be, you know what, babe, there's a purpose in me. I want to get out there. I want to work. I want to do. So everything always comes back down to communicating, right? Making sure that we're all on the same page. There are some amazing stay-home moms,
Right.
and I honor them. I elevate them because of what you just said, Michelle, about wanting to be that influence. I think it is so important for women to raise their children and to give them principles and values and morals and to be at the head of that. Having said that, at the end of the day, it has to be in the communication. So I'm one too, and I know we're going to get some pushback on this because there are really some men who stay at home. I can't wrap my brain around that. Now, once again, choices. So please don't be mad at us. If you guys are okay with your husband staying home and you going out and work, and beautiful too. This is our opinion. This is our thoughts. And so I'm in agreement. I believe that biblically it says a man is supposed to provide. He's supposed to protect. And so I'm going to be real with you guys. I have been I am 60. I have yet to find somebody that would just want me, take care of me. But if I had somebody come in my life that was like, babe, I got this. You can just stay home and go hang out with your friends and do this and write your novels and stuff and pursue you, I would do that in a hot New York minute.
So I have a question for you guys.
Really quick though, because we're saying that within parameters of marriage, right? Like, how would that be if, like, being realistic, right? There's a lot of people in relationships that are not married. If you had a partner that was providing for you and paying all your bills, but there's no legal attachment between you two, would you still go down that path, or would you make your own money?
That's it. Watch this. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Mm-hmm. And I don't believe that anybody who is not married, and now they may decide to commingle. They may decide, okay, we're going to put all of our resources together and we're going to do all this. But I tell women all the time, you should not have an expectation of a man to pay your bills and take care of you, because that, in my belief, is under the confines of marriage and not under something that is, where's the commitment? Where's the connection? You said commitment was one of your 5 pillars of your non-negotiables. Well, if commitment is important, what's my end game? Why am I in this? Why am I with this guy? Why am I sleeping with this guy? Why is he paying the bills? And we have no end game that says we're married, the two have become one. What am I getting out of this? I mean, I got somebody saying you're getting your bills paid, but at what expense?
That's
at
tricking.
what cost?
And when can it end? Because because I always look at it like this, like, and I only look at it like this because this is the world that we live in. I personally don't look at it like this, but words that people can understand.
Yes,
we're all about we're all about business. Everybody's business. Okay, you don't enter no business without a contract. So why would you enter an agreement, any form of, when I move in somewhere, there's an agreement between landlord and renter. So either way, why would we not have some sort of agreement in place?
Is he tricking?
If he's paying bills without y'all being married? I've never had my bills paid for without being married.
I missed the question. Is he what, Kendall?
It's a Ebonic street vernacular term in reference to.
Stuff. I didn't know what tricking was.
In reference to a man.
Tricking if you got it. But,
Exactly.
It is tricking though. It is tricking. You are tricking. You are paying for her to be there.
Yeah. Well, that's why I come into. Okay, I'm really going on a side note, because I just think prostitution should be legalized. And why am I saying that? I'm saying that because at the end of the day, how many women are with men and they're paying their way and they're giving them sex? It's just not called prostitution, right? Yeah.
Well, those are high-end escorts too.
Yeah, So at the end of the day, I hear what you guys are saying, and I think it boils down to choices. It boils down. I was listening to a friend of mine's boyfriend who said, well, yeah, she's over here and I handle everything else. And it really kind of like stuck in my craw that, what do you mean you handle everything else? I mean, what does that mean in the course of it? Because you're not married, you live in 2 different parts of the town. And so sometimes that takes on a sense of ownership, Kendall, on the man's part, that he owns that because he is paying for that. So he may be paying the bills, but there's also some intrinsic value that he is getting on, she's mine and I'm calling all the shots. We talked about alpha men, right? And their perspective. What is the expectation of a man who is paying all of her bills?
So do you guys know what men want or no?
So I was actually just going to get into that because I love having this conversation of let's remove money and sex from it.
Okay.
Right? Because that's the ultimate thing, is like, if a man believes that his money is enough to cover everything else, then you don't understand what provision and providing is. If a woman believes that sex is her, highest attribute or whatever, that is a prostitute. And it's just like, let's remove that. Now let's go relationship. People to people, human to human connection. Do we understand the needs of each other? If we were, because I think about it like this, like, marriage, you are signing up for the best and the worst. You're going through life with somebody.
Come on.
God forbid I get injured or my husband get injured and we're not able to have sex like that for a period of time or whatever. Like, was that the only thing keeping you here? And vice versa for a man, he should not have to feel like the only reason she was here was because I was paying my bills. Because again, anything could happen. And if you're not providing, now I don't love you. Now you're not worthy of my love. Now you're not providing anything to my life. And I think that's the part culture and society put so much emphasis on: sexual attraction and money being spent. And that's just not, like, we're missing the whole topic of what relationship really is.
You got it on the nail.
Conditional and transactional, like you were saying. Like,
They literally
is
say
this transactional? That's what you're saying, right?
Well, conditional, conditional and transactional is like, okay, I love you if you provide this, or like you provide this, so I provide that. But it's like if a part of that equation goes away, then it's like, what do you have?
Well, there's a saying that says that women marry a man's wallet and men marry a woman's body, which is crazy. But that's the society that we're kind of in right now, unfortunately, because people don't value the things that we value. Because this is a very eclectic group because we like substance. I think that's the permeating thing along all of us is we value substance in not only relationships, but business and even in everything that we do. So some people, when we're speaking this language, they can't even fathom that. Oh my gosh, she needs 100%. To be able to do more. Oh my God. Yes, she does, bro.
100%. And here's the other interesting thing is we're also talking, like you said, it's not all of us. So I have people who I know have been together for like 10 years or more. And they say, why do I need a piece of paper? They feel they're operating within a marriage. So what constitutes the marriage?
Well, they say men lose in a marriage anyway. I've been seeing that everywhere.
Okay, well, I've seen plenty of things that say men benefit from having a partner, a life partner.
Tell me.
Well,
wait, from a life partner or a marriage?
Yeah,
well, marriage, life partner, same thing.
No.
Okay, we can say life partner, but like you said, like what's the difference between having a life partner and marriage? I think today, like we all look at marriage as a negative thing. We all have heard that statistic that 50% of marriages fail. So it's like, why would you even want to take that risk? So I understand people's perspective on that, but I guess you just have to ask yourself like what marriage means to you personally.